Welcome to video 8 about cookies, sessions, errors, and exceptions. So first, let's start out with cookies. A cookie is a small file that the server embeds to the user's computer in order to identify the user. And so each time the same computer requests a page with the browser, it'll send the cookie too. So by using PHP, you can both create and retrieve cookie values. So how do you create cookie values with PHP? First, create the setCookie function, which is shown right over here. And in the setCookie function, you add the name, the value, the expire, the path, the domain, the secure, and the HTTP only. So the name is the name of the cookie. The value is the value of the cookie, which is the value which is stored on the computer. And expire is basically the time until the cookie expires. Path refers to the server on which the cookie is available on. The domain is the subdomain that the cookie is available on. Here indicates that the cookie should only be transmitted over secure HTTPS connection. So for this, you basically set it to either true or false. So 0 or 1. And for HTTP only, you also set it to just true or false by 0 and 1. And when it's true, the cookie is made accessible through the HTTP protocol. So this means that the cookie won't be accessible by other scripting languages. So what is an example of a cookie function? Well, I'll show you. So this is an example cookie function. The cookie function is actually a header, which means that it comes before the HTML and head tags, as well as any white space. So this function is in front of any prior output. This is an example of a cookie function. As you can see, you have the function setCookie and the name as test cookie. The value is just kept like this. The time is plus 3,600, and this value is in seconds, so this is basically an hour. So the cookie will expire in an hour. And then the path, like the server that it's available on, is Rasmus. And the domain is example.com. And then the secure is 1, which means that it's true. And this indicates that it will only be transmitted over secure connection. So that's how to make a cookie function, an example of one. And in order to see if a cookie is enabled, you can use this code presented here. So you basically start the PHP tag, then you set the cookie, and the name is test cookie, and then the value is test, and then the time of expiration is in an hour. And this slash basically means that the cookie will be available within the entire domain. The slash means that you're not restricting a domain, it's just allowed in all domains. And then close it. And then you start the HTML tag and the body tag. And then you can add this piece of code over here, which is basically going to show up after you run this code. So what it's saying is that if the cookie is set and it's greater than 0, which means that it's true, then it will display cookies are enabled. But if it's anything else, then it will display cookies are disabled. Then you're going to close that PHP tag that was started right over here. And then you're going to close the body tag. And then you're going to close the HTML tag. And if you run this, then you should be able to see if your cookies are up and running. So now let's get on to sessions. Session variables store user information that can be used across multiple pages. By default, the session variables last until the user closes the browser. So they hold information about one user and they're available to all pages in one application until the browser is closed. So to start a PHP session, you start with the session_start function. And basically to set it up, you start the PHP tag, then you put the session_start function, you close the PHP tag, then you specify the doc type as HTML, start the HTML tag, start the body tag, and then again start the PHP tag, and then here you use the $_session variable. And then you put brackets and then quotation marks, and then you specify the session, and then you put quotation marks and then close the brackets, and you make that equal to your output. So for this example, we did the session as favorite color, and then the output of that was orange. So same thing for the next one. You do the session variable, and then the input would be favorite food, and then the output would be donuts. And so then you put echo session variables are set. So that's what's going to show up on the screen once you run this whole code. After that, you're going to want to close the PHP tag, close the body tag, and close the HTML tag. So that's how you get the PHP session running, or to at least start it. In order to show all the session variable values for a user, you're going to want to use this code. And what this does is that it's going to show, when you run it, it's going to show this. It's going to show the input and output for the session variable. So this is the code, and what it is that you're starting the PHP tag, and then you do the session start function, close the PHP tag, specify the doc type again, open the HTML tag, open the body tag, and then again you're going to want to start the PHP tag, and then you're going to do print_r, and then you'll do the session variable, which is $_session. Close the PHP tag, close the body tag, and then close the HTML tag. And as you can see, this code is really similar to the previous one where you started the session. The only exception is the print_r and then the session variable. And basically, this line is going to allow you to see what you inputted and outputted in the session. So this is how you start and run PHP sessions.